It's Dia, designer of Coloring Dreams. Today I'm going to color with Lolly's 70 set gel pen that I got from Amazon and my awesome Faber Castell 120 pencil set. So I designed this book based on a book that I had illustrated several years ago at this point. It ended up in the Eric Carle Museum for a nice weekend, and here's some of the pictures. That little droplet looks really cool when it's colored. This book is 8 by 10 and it has borders. You can see the swirly little borders. Today I'm going to recreate the cover. Well, part of the cover anyway. I'm going to do the center flower and I'm going to do the hummingbird for the most part. I want to start with the colored pencils. Almost as an experiment for myself also, because I've never used these Faber-Castell pencils with I was going to say with the Lolly's gel pens, but with any kind of gel pens. I've never used them before. I cracked the set open today and put them all in mugs and messed around with them a little bit, but mostly drawing and writing my name a few times, but I thought it would be really cool to see what it looked like on top of some colored pencil work. So what I started with was the center of the flower. I used a very light, like buttery yellow, and then over the top of it I added kind of like a hay color almost, and then I went over the center a little bit with green. Now, this color almost looks like very light pink or flesh, and I'm going to just sort of make a base on the flowers. It's a little bit lighter, so the other colors are going to blend a bit better. Then I went up in intensity one shot, so it's still pink, and I'm going over the same area. But now, well, this is my opinion anyway. The colors go on a little smoother once there's a base, and sometimes I even go over the whole thing, especially if it's going to be a light color first or a white. I just cover the whole thing, and sometimes I even blend it first before I go over it with that darker shade. So, okay, now what I'm showing you here is if it's a bigger area, I wear down a little bit of the pencil. So it's like almost like a flat, really smooth and creamy surface. So then I can do a little bit more of the area at once. Now, that is what some people call a stump, and the actual name is a tortillon. And I'm going in and blending everything that I've done already. So that lighter shade is mixing right in with that slightly brighter shade. And I'm also going over by the yellow, and I'm blending the yellow in with that pretty peachy pinky color. Now I'm going brighter again. Now right over there where I'm coloring right now, I'm leaving a little bit of, it's not quite white, but it's like a lighter pink. So I'm leaving that uncolored because I want that to be a highlight or maybe even a dewdrop. I can't decide quite yet. Now I'm going over that same area with like a super light lilac. Now, I go over colors again and again and again. Sometimes with 4, 5, 6, 7, it doesn't matter how many colors you go over. You can keep doing it until you like it. Now there's erasers that you can use that will get rid of smaller areas. I wouldn't recommend trying to erase a whole colored pencil area, but there are electric erasers that actually spin. The very tip goes really fast, and it's about half the size of a regular eraser, and you can remove tiny mistakes, or you can add areas that are highlightish. Now, once again, I'm going back around the same areas and I'm adding some details. I wanted to do this picture specifically because a lot of people seem a bit intimidated if the area is too big or if it's too empty. They don't know what to do with it and they feel like they have to either pick a color and just, color the whole area, or they just don't do it because they don't know what to do it. So it becomes not one of their favorite pictures. So I wanted to show you this because I wanted you to see that you don't have to do it all the same color. You can make the image look any way you like. Now, this one has a couple of creases and dents and bends, just like a regular flower would, but you can add your own. That yellow part around the very center of the flower wasn't really indicated anywhere. That was just sort of in my head. I thought that would be nice to differentiate the middle part of the flower. Now, I'm taking a brighter color, a brighter pink, and I'm going in there. Now, there's no indication of this either, but I'm making little spots or specks on the flower. I'm going to go in real quick and I'm going to color in the stem. And once again, I'm not being as neat as I normally would, but I just wanted to show everybody that you really can do whatever you want. The other thing is, I don't know what kind of flower this is supposed to be. I designed it almost so the dimension of the flower fit properly and nicely within the picture. Now, I know that flowers don't have swirls on them, and the lines of demarcation are not so perfect. But I thought that would be really cool to show that. And what I'm doing now is just showing how you can use several different color greens. Also that idea once again of not being stuck with one color. Also, and I do this all the time, even when I do paintings or regular drawings. Sometimes I go in there and I have kind of an idea of what I want it to look like, but I'm not quite positive. So I go in maybe a little lighter. Do I like that green over there? I don't know. I'm not quite sure. So I get kind of an idea. Maybe I'll put yellow down first. Yellow in a leaf blends really nicely into a mintier green. And then you can even go into a darker green from there. Now also you can see by the way I work, I go back and forth. I look at the flower, I look at the color of the leaf compared to the flower. I can't do that thing that some people do, and I kind of admire, because they must have such a solid idea of what they're going to accomplish all at once. They do like a section, and they complete that one section, or maybe one leaf, and it's done, and it's pretty, and it seems like it always comes out pretty nice, or what they show comes out pretty nice anyway, but I don't have that ability. I go back and forth. I might do a section here, a section there, and I have a tendency to do this balance thing too. As you can see what I've just been doing. I go to the top, I go to the side, I go to the bottom. Yeah, I don't have that complete vision in my head. It sort of develops as I do it. Now, I'm going over to the hummingbird because I wanted to see how the colors in my head, once again, would work. So I just envision this hummingbird kind of glistening and glossy. Their feathers almost seem luminescent to me. So without the ability, I guess I could go over the whole thing with clear nail polish, but that isn't my intention. I want to kind of create the look of that shiny, not phosphorescent necessarily, but luminescent, feather glistening look. So I'm picking colors that I think would lend themselves well to that. And I think at the end I'm going to take some of the gel pens and I'm going to go over the colors that I'm laying down now, because I know and I've heard that the gel pens have like little bits of glitter in them and some of them are sparkly, and I've never used this before, so this is kind of exciting to me. So I'm going in there a little bit lighter than probably I normally would. Same with the flower and the leaves, because I want the ability to go in with those gel pens and go over the top of it without it getting lost in translation. Now, I'm taking some greens and I'm going really quickly just so there's like hints of these off colors, and I'm going to be mixing odd colors together like greens and purples and blues, in hopes that it looks that shiny sparkly way. Around the eye, I did this on the top too with the blue. I'm leaving kind of like an eye shape around the actual little black eye on the bird. I don't know if hummingbirds' eyes are that way, but I thought it would be nice to give it that extra detail. And I have an idea at the end of what I'm going to do with the gel pens too. I think I'm going to put some soft, like real soft little dots around the eyes. You can see that I do that for shading in other areas also, like on the flowers, a little bit on the hummingbird head, and elsewhere on the leaves, like as a very soft indicator of a swirl. It's purely for fun. You know, I'm looking at this picture now, and yes, it looks like a real hummingbird to a point, and yes, it looks like legitimate flowers. But, you know, if you take a look at the leaves, there's swirls and dots and shadows and highlights that absolutely do not exist in the real world. And that's one really awesome thing that I like about art. You can do whatever you want. Now, this picture, you know, even in black and white, looks pretty done. But don't let that stop you. If you want to take colors and, you know, add to the leaves and add little dimension to the leaves, or even go beyond that and add anything, you could literally make the leaves look like they have colorful tattoos on them. Make little flowers on the leaves, or birds, or other swirls. It's all fun. So on the hummingbird and on the flower and on the leaves, I blended everything to a point. I didn't want to blend too much because I didn't want to completely remove the tooth of the paper. If you rub too hard, and if you push too hard with the pencils too, it'll happen also. It's called burnishing. It becomes shiny and the surface becomes very flat, which is okay if that's what you want, but I want the ability to go back in with those cool new gel pens. Now what I'm doing here is just adding a little bit of dimension. And if you have enough color on the tip of that tortillon, you can move it around and use it in other areas. I'm just going to go back in a little bit and add a little bit more dimension with this sort of yellow-orange color. And then with that fuchsia going to that very small section in the center of the flower, just so it stands out a little bit. Now, I'm just fussing around, basically. I have a pretty good idea of what this whole image is going to look like. So I'm going over things that I've already done because I'm just excited to get to the gel pens. So the first thing I'm going to do is use this bright pink and make indications of feathers. It's similar to the color that was already there. It's a little bit brighter. Now I'm adding more feathers or indications of feathers. You really don't have to, make a huge deal out of it. Yeah, these are really pretty actually. They're shiny. Now I'm doing those little dots that I was talking about before, just to highlight or accent or make it look cool. Now this color is almost too light. It doesn't really show. I'm trying out this one too. Also pretty light. I'm putting some feathers in. This one's a little bit brighter. I'm assuming I'm going to get a little bit more results. And I am. This is what it's good for. Going over those swirly, kind of cool areas in the leaves. If you have the patience, you can literally do this on the whole thing. You could add dimension on the flower. It looks so good over that red. It came out really nice. Thank you guys for watching this. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up below. And please follow. Thank you so much. See you in the next video. Bye.